If you're like me, you have a few guns for different tools, so to say. But oftentimes people have talks about, well, if you had to leave the house in, let's just say, some sort of a world-changing event where you had to leave your home, which guns would you grab and how many of them would you grab? Well, let me start by saying if I was to leave my house, there's definitely a couple guns I would grab, but my intentions are not to be out in the middle of nowhere at any point. My intentions, I have multiple places I would go that have multiple guns. So in a hypothetical, if I was to have to leave and grab some guns, I really don't think it's realistic to grab more than 2 guns. I have multiple reasons for that, because oftentimes you're going to be carrying other things as well. If you're leaving the house, you got to bring ammo. Let's just talk about the guns for a while. You got to bring ammo. You got to bring magazines. You got to bring some sort of a gun cleaning kit and oil and that sort of thing. But then you have other stuff. You're going to have like a first aid kit. You're going to have clothes. You're going to have flashlights. You're going to have knives. There's things you're going to have. So I think it's realistic to grab 2. Now, if I was to, again, this is a hypothetical, where I'm going would have guns, so I'm not really necessarily concerned about it. But oftentimes, world-changing events change your world and your plans go out the window. So if I had to leave, I don't believe I could leave with more than 2 guns, or I'm sure I could leave with lots of guns, but realistically, what I could carry with me is 2 guns. And have ample amount of ammo. So what would they be? Gosh, that's a tough question to ask. Let me start by saying what I would like to grab is I'd like to grab my CZ 452 Ultralux in 22 LR with a scope that's lifted to where I can also use iron sights for the survival reasons. That's a great gun, but I wouldn't grab it. I'd like to grab it, but I wouldn't grab it. I'd also like to grab my Typhoon 12 gauge semi-automatic shotgun for the obvious reasons. It's a semi-automatic magazine fed shotgun. Might be quite possibly one of the best defense weapons out there. But I wouldn't grab it either. I wouldn't grab the 22 LR because I have a more effective 22 LR, and I wouldn't grab the shotgun because of the bulky ammo. I'd like to grab the shotgun. As a matter of fact, if I just grabbed one gun, it is leaning towards that shotgun. But ultimately, with a little chance to kind of think about it and put together a video, again, if I ran out the door, I'd probably just grab that shotgun. But with a little bit of thinking and a little bit of time to kind of put things together like I did for this video, ultimately, it would not be either one of those 2. I would like it to be both of those guns, but it would not be either one. Ultimately, what I would grab is I would first grab a handgun. Definitely, if all you could grab is one gun, make it a handgun, because 95% of your time out in the world is going to be interacting with other humans, and you'd like to be concealing a gun on you at all times, whether it be today in the normal world or some sort of strange future world where there's no rule of law. You're still going to interact with people, and you need to have a gun on you when you do that interaction. So I definitely recommend a handgun. For me, it's going to be some sort of a CZ75. It's a tried and true platform that I love. Most likely my Swiss AT84S. I have a ton of magazines for it. It's 9mm. I could take this thing apart, work on it. It's a tried and true platform. And again, you really need to have some sort of a handgun on you. If all you can do is grab one gun, if all you own is one gun, it should be a handgun. Now, with that being said, there's obviously a lot of options out there when it comes to a handgun. I considered a revolver for a while because of 357 Magnum. I mean, goodness gracious, you can hunt with it, you could defend yourself with it, but ultimately I keep going back to the CZ75 for the capacity, it's 9mm, its accuracy, its dependability. I mean, I just go on and on why I picked the CZ75. I've made a bunch of videos on it, I'm sure, in the past. But in addition to that, outside of a handgun, for me it would be a CZ75. It would definitely be an AR platform, and this is why. Having a 223 means a lot of different things. It means extreme accuracy. You can hunt with it. You can defend yourself with it. The ammo is very lightweight, very, very lightweight. But in addition to that, An AR platform, you could just simply change out the bullet carrier group and shoot 22 LR. So you could, you put 1,000 rounds of 22 LR in your pocket and go out the door with it. Or several hundred rounds of 223 or 5.56, and you got the same rifle, and you could achieve both things in that one rifle. So, and on that rifle, I would make sure it had iron sights. You might want a scope on it for hunting, but you want iron sights on it for just close quarter, hand-to-hand, or a red dot, that kind of thing. Iron sights, and then in addition to that, maybe a red dot. But I would not, if it's the one gun you're going out the door with, I would not scope it. Your one rifle, I would definitely have a red dot and iron sights on it. Doesn't hurt to bring a scope, if optics are available. I have one with night vision that I'd certainly like to bring along, but I would rather have the iron sights and the red dot on it for just the all-around usage. So there you go. There's all sorts, I'd want to grab a 22 LR, I'd want to grab a shotgun. There's, really I'm leaning towards that shotgun. And chances are if I run out the door, you see me run out the door, I probably will have a shotgun in my hands. But if I think it's long term, if I think it's like, well, I got to go and I probably won't be coming back, it'll definitely be an AR platform. Because of the 22 LR and the 5.56 ammo and the accuracy, dependability. There's probably parts everywhere. There's ammo everywhere. We can go on and on. And similar with the 9mm. So there you go. There's my thoughts. If I had to leave the house with just 2 guns, and I've kind of had a chance to put everything together, it would be those 2. But honestly, I'd like to grab that shotgun, that's for sure. It would be the 3rd, that's for sure. So any thoughts or insight on that, definitely put that in the comments below. If you like this video, click like and subscribe. Love to hear what you would run out the door with. Put that below as well. The most important part of this channel is we take prayer requests, so please don't ever hesitate to send that in. Thank you for watching this episode of God, Family, and Guns. And as always, love God, love your family, and love guns.